Every single person in Renata Okonkwo's life told her the same thing. The cat has to go. Not suggested. Told. Her mother called from Ohio the day Renata announced the pregnancy and said it before she even said congratulations. Her neighbor Paulette, who had 4 children and considered herself an authority on most things, leaned over the fence in August and said it while Renata was 9 months along and barely able to bend. Her OB made a note in her file about toxoplasmosis and handed her a printed sheet. Everyone knew what everyone knew. Cats and babies were a dangerous combination. The cat would sit on the baby's face. It would be jealous. It would scratch. Renata had read the same things they had. She'd also had Figaro for 11 years. She kept the cat. Her daughter Amara arrived on a Thursday in early October, 7 pounds 4 ounces, furious and perfect. They brought her home on Saturday. Renata's husband Kweku carried the infant seat through the front door while Renata held her breath and watched Figaro from the corner of the room. The cat was sitting on the back of the sofa, the spot he had occupied for 11 years, watching the proceedings with the expression cats reserve for things they have already decided about. He dropped from the sofa to the floor. He approached the carrier, he sniffed twice, the carrier handle, then the edge of the fleece blanket, and walked away to the kitchen. Renata exhaled. For the first 2 weeks, Figaro's behavior was exactly what the warnings had prepared her for. Indifferent. He slept in his spots. He ate at his times. He regarded Amara with the faint distaste of a senior employee watching a new hire arrive with too much energy and not enough credentials. Renata began to relax. Then the 3rd week happened. It started with a position. Renata woke at 2 in the morning to check the monitor and found Figaro had moved. He was no longer sleeping at the foot of their bed. He was sitting in the hallway, directly outside the door of the nursery, perfectly still, facing inward. Renata checked the monitor. Amara was asleep. She went back to bed. At 4, she checked again. He was still there. The 2nd night the same. The 3rd night the same. If you stay for stories about what animals sense before we do, you're in the right place. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. On the 7th night, Renata woke at 3:17 not to the monitor alarm, but to a sound she had never heard Figaro make. Not a yowl, not a hiss, a low, sustained vocalization, somewhere between a growl and a call, continuous and directed. She was across the hallway in 4 steps. Figaro was standing with his front paws on the edge of the crib rail, looking down at Amara, making that sound without stopping. Amara was breathing. Renata could see that immediately, but the breathing was wrong. Too shallow. Too fast. The color in her face around the lips was slightly off. Renata called the pediatric nurse line. The nurse asked her to count Amara's breaths per minute. 61. The normal range for an infant was 30 to 60. The nurse told her to go to the emergency room now. Amara had RSV, early-stage bronchiolitis caught before oxygen saturation had dropped dangerous levels. The attending physician at the children's hospital, a woman named Dr. Yaboa, told Renata that they had come in at exactly the right time. Another few hours, and the picture would have been different. She asked what made Renata check on the baby at 3 in the morning. Renata said, "The cat woke me up." Has your pet ever done something that made no sense until it was the only thing that made sense? Tell us in the comments. These stories deserve to be heard. Dr. Yaboa paused over her tablet. Then she said, "That's the 3rd time this year someone has told me that." She didn't elaborate. She finished her notes and moved to the next room. Amara came home 2 days later, stable and loudly unhappy about the whole experience, which Renata's mother said was a good sign. Figaro was sitting on the back of the sofa when they came through the door. He dropped to the floor. He approached the carrier. He sniffed the edge of the blanket. Then he walked to the hallway and sat outside the nursery door. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never ask for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. He slept there every night for the next 4 months. Renata's mother came to visit in February and did not say anything about the cat. She watched him for a while from the kitchen doorway. Then she asked what his name was. Renata told her. Her mother nodded once and went back to her coffee. The next story involves a dog who did something in the middle of a house fire that no one trained him to do.